This is the Alden Report.
Hey, it's Mike Alden. Listen, before we get into this next episode of the Alden Report, I want to tell you about a company and a service that I believe can take your company to the next level. And that company is Penji, P-E-N-J-I. Penji is an unlimited design service that connects you with the top 2% of graphic designers in the world. You can get creative output like as if you had an internal team, but without that additional overhead cost. Look, if you want things like logos to flyers to digital art, even UX and UI, Penji is the company for you. I know because I've used them. Look, if you're the person within your company that's doing all the graphic design work, or maybe you even have a team and you're overwhelmed and you want to outsource it to a company that you know you can trust. Look, we know all these other services out there. Penji is like no other graphic design service that I've ever seen, and I've used them, and I highly recommend going to Penji.co. Because you're a listener and a subscriber of the Alden Report, you can actually get 15% off of your first month with Penji. It's really, really simple. Go to Penji.co, enter in the code Alden15, and you'll get 15% off of your first month. Listen, if you want things like logos, custom illustrations, even a website, and you want it all under one plan that's not going to lock you in forever, then visit Penji.co, and when you sign up, make sure you enter the code Alden15. Once you submit your order, it's really, really simple. Here's the thing. They get your custom designs back to you within 48 hours or less. So go on and visit Penji.co and enter in the code Alden15. That's Penji.co and enter in the code Alden15.
This is the Alden Report.
All right. Well, my name is Michael Alden. You know, I always say we are here in Blue Bay Studios. We're in a undisclosed location. You can see it's a little bit dark. I'm wearing my Wicked Happy hat. I got a t-shirt on. I don't have my glasses. I don't have my 99-cent glasses, and I'll tell you about that maybe later at another time, so it's a little bit of a secret. But I'm super excited for my next guest because, you know, I love bringing people on the Alden Report that are doing interesting things, that are leaders in they are authority figures within their profession. And my next guest is Ari Galper. Excuse me. Ari is the number one authority on trust-based selling. You know, we haven't really brought anyone on that talks about sales, you know, and a lot of people don't really, you know, sales is kind of a weird thing, but we all need to have sales in order to grow our business. And we're always being sold every single day. And Ari has a really interesting background and also a very different perspective on the world of selling. So, you know, if you're listening right now or you're watching right now and you're saying, man, how do I increase my sales? How do I become a better salesperson? Then you're not going to want to miss this episode of the Alden Report. Please help me welcome Mr. Ari Galper. Ari, thanks so much for being here all the way in Australia.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Probably if you hear the accent, not much of a slight accent there, but from the U.S. originally, from California. Been here for 20 years now. I met my wife online on a dating site, and here I am.
You know, I was gonna say something to you before we started recording because I there's like a slight accent, but it didn't seem like, you know, it was either you lost it, but so you're acquiring the accent as the years go by.
Over time, yeah. Americans kind of don't change much. Australians do when they go the opposite direction, but we kind of stay the same typically.
So that's interesting. So you met your wife on a dating website and then you flew all the way across the world and the rest is history.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, you know, again, we've had a lot of different, we have business leaders, we've had motivational speakers, obviously tons and tons of authors. But, you know, I really haven't had anybody on that talks specifically about selling. And I was watching some of your videos and I have a bunch of different questions, but I was really intrigued when, you know, with your methodology, talking about trust-based selling, which is like so important. It seems so basic, but a lot of people don't even really think about that. So what is trust-based selling and why is it important and why is it different than selling any other way?
Well, it's the opposite of selling, because what I tell my clients is stop selling, build trust instead. See, we've been so conditioned and so programmed to chase the sale, play the numbers game, build relationships with people, you know, too early on in the process. There's so many of these kind of old voices in the back of our mind that forces us into sales mode. We don't build trust with people. We don't know how to do it consciously. So this whole model and process called Unlock the Game is how to basically break that little patterns and build trust with people almost instantly using our approach.
I was watching one of your videos and on another interview, and right out of college, I sold cars. I'm an attorney by trade. I know I don't look like it right now. In fact, my ex-wife and I, we have a great relationship. She was like, "You're really going to do a podcast looking like that?" I'm like, "Look, whatever, we're here." So she's like, especially with the sales guy. By the way, she's a total rock star salesperson. That's where we met. Actually, we met at a she was the number one salesperson there.
Cool.
But so one of the things that I learned when I sold cars right out of college before I went to law school was building rapport with people. And when I heard one of your talks about that, I mean, is that really what we're talking about? Tell us a little bit about that and why building rapport is more important than even the sale.
Well, funny, I'll kind of clarify that. So what I teach people to think about is, I'll drop a bit of a bomb here, but the goal is not to build a relationship with someone pre-sale.
All right. My mind is already blown. So I need some, I tell people all the time when I have guys like you on that are just total rock stars and experts, I'm like, for me, it's like getting free coaching, and I said that to Marshall Goldsmith. I don't know if you know who he is, but he kind of didn't like it. He didn't like my sense of humor. So, okay. So that is the complete opposite of what I think. So tell me. You
build a relationship with them after the sale.
Okay.
Not before the sale. You see, we're so caught up in this whole rapport building. How's it going? Nice to meet you. Hey, buddy. Like, we're working so hard for us to like us. They know it's fake anyways. They've got a problem. They want it solved. They don't want to become your friend in between. They just want to solve that problem. What we do is we end up putting this rapport building stuff in the middle of the whole thing. We mix it all up and extends in the whole long sales cycle. So what I'm suggesting is this. You can build trust with somebody without building a relationship with them first. They're mutually exclusive. And I'll tell you how to do that today in a unique way that'll probably blow your mind because it seems so common sense rather than trying to throw all the stuff in the middle of it, which ends up in the long sales cycle to nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? So let's hear it again. So, listen, if you're listening right now, we're on with Ari Galper, and he is one of the leading experts within the world of sales. He's got an entire program. By the way, I got your package. It was just amazing when I got it. It was literally the way everything came together. And I have your books and the stuff about your son. We'll talk about that as well. And this thing right here too. Like I've seen these before, but I don't know if anyone. I'm just going to show it to you because I know you know what it is. But I don't even know what this thing is called, but this is so cool. Like this. So this came to me with your package. But so, man, you really know how to do it right. So, okay. So what is it then? Because again, I think I've been taught to build rapport with people quickly. And I want to get into one of your videos, talked about call centers actually, and I own a call center and we have scripts. And so tell me again what we're talking about here, because
it's a mindset shift. You're shifting from selling to a doctor-patient relationship where they're the patient, you're the doctor. They say to you, my shoulder hurts. You say, let me take a look. Is it over here? Oh, wow. I think we got to do a bit of an x-ray on there and take a look at identify what the problem is. Let's see what we can prescribe to you some solution. See, what we do normally is when a potential client tells us their problem, we go, oh, great, we can help you with that. And your brain goes, oh yeah, perfect fit for me. I can help this guy. And you begin to talk about your solution, show your case studies and justify. See, we're so used to kind of taking someone down a path towards a sale that what happens is the entire time they're asking themselves, do I trust him? Do I trust him? Do I trust him? See, when they feel like they're going down a sales process, you break that trust. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're having a first call with somebody over the phone. First potential sales call, like a good client. They're qualified, call is going well, call comes to an end, and it looks like there's some good chemistry there. What do you normally say to someone at a call like that? Not a trick question. What do you say to someone after a qualified call like that?
Well, I do know the answer because I watched some of your stuff, but I'm going to follow up with you.
Yeah. So we try and move things where? Forward, right? That's the model we've been taught, right?
Follow up and follow through. They say that's the key to sales, man.
Exactly. Now, what if...
Are we all wrong? Is everybody wrong?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So what if you try and move the person forward and they aren't ready yet? What do you break with them right there at the beginning of your process?
Again, I'm just going to guess. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to go with the word trust. I'm breaking.
You break trust, right? So let's do our
hold
approach.
on, but why? But why would that break trust? I mean, if we're in a, well, I'm going to call it a relationship loosely, but if we're in some sort of relationship,
the first conversation, no relationship.
Well, isn't this the second? Oh, so we're talking about the first conversation.
You're like I said, you're having a first call with somebody, and they're qualified. They got some problems, and it looks like a good fit.
See, I already jumped ahead to the follow up, but
yeah, our programming says let's move them where.
Let's move them down to the sale. I mean, you move.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
If you do that prematurely and they aren't ready yet, you've lost them right there. Okay, because they don't tell you the truth. Now, same scenario, our approach. Okay, call is going well. It's a good fit. Chemistry's there. Call comes to a close. Rather than saying, "Hey, how about we move forward or whatever?" What we say instead is this. We say, where do you think we should go from here?
Okay. So yeah. So what you're doing is you're taking control, but by essentially giving them control.
We're shifting control back to them. And when you say to somebody, where do you think we should go from here? They're usually in a state of shock.
I was going to say, yeah, shock. Yeah.
They can't believe somebody in business would ask them what they want. They're so used to being pulled down this process for selling. They know it a mile away. And the minute you do that, it's over. They don't trust you anymore to play. They give you enough breadcrumbs to make you feel like you can buy something. Now the whole sales game begins. You start chasing what I call ghosts. And you play the numbers game, hoping at the end it might work out. What we're saying is we believe in this economy now, the sale is not lost anymore at the end of the process. It's now lost at the beginning, at hello. And I'll prove it to you right now in a fun way. If someone calls your office tomorrow morning, you pick up the phone, you hear, hi, my name is, I'm with, we are a, what goes through your mind in about 3 seconds?
Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he calling me?
It's over at hello, isn't it?
I'm from Boston, so we swear a lot. But yeah.
So the whole shift here is that we have to let go of our goal of the sale 100% and be fully focused in on their issues and connect with them and build what I call
I got to back up, man. I tell you, listen, I'm loving this conversation. So I hope you're,
bring it on.
I only have one light in this room. So if you're listening, awesome. If you're watching, it might get dark, but just because again, I feel like I'm going to get trained here. So I want to give you the cold call scenario. So if I'm cold calling someone, right, literally just a cold, like I bought a list, I got leads, I'm just calling and I say, hey, Ari, my name's Mike. I'm with Wicked Happy and just I'm just calling to touch base. I see that your company buys apparel.
I'm not interested. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm lost. I'm already lost. I lost it.
You're dead.
So what do I say in a cold call? What's the first thing? By the way, whatever you're going to say, I'm sure you charge thousands. I've seen your speeches. I know what you do. I know you help companies all over the world. So whatever you're about to say, if you're listening, this is free. So just listen to what he's going to say. So I'm a cold caller. I call. What do I say first? What's the first thing I say?
Here's what you say.
I can't wait.
Hi. My name is Mike. And I'm hoping you can help me out for a moment.
I love it.
You don't say where you're from.
Yeah.
You don't say what you do. You don't say checking in. You don't say how's it going. You don't do anything that says selling.
By the way, I got some stuff I got to follow up with. I'm already going to use it. So I'm hoping you can help me out. I wrote my first book is titled Ask More, Get More, right? And that's, I kind of talk about a similar concept, but it's not as, regimented and it's not a sales process, so to speak. I say, is there anything else you can do for me is one of the things that I say. But we're talking about the first call. I love it because it must, in the brain on that, they probably don't know what's going on, right?
They don't know who it is. There could be an investor. It could be a client. It could be the IRS. They don't know who it is. So human nature, when people hear, I'm hoping you can help me out for a moment. Human nature is to say, how can I help you?
Yeah, because
you don't know who it is. You're going to say it no matter what, as long as you say it calmly and softly. You can't say, hi, I'm hoping you can help me out for a minute. Now, you can't be salesy. You got to break the sales script model. and be relaxed and calm and lower your voice. I'm hoping you can help me out for a moment. And lower your voice, then they'll come in and they'll save you and pick you up and say, how can I help you? That's how you craft the code on building trust at hello without getting rejected on that first step.
You know, in a second, I do want to talk to you about tonalities, which is you're kind of getting into right now, which is so important, like you said, in this environment we're in. I think a lot of people are scurrying around. I was reading some of your stuff. The world is shifting. The environment is changing. I mean, you have that quote from Jack Welch that, you know, talks about if the outside environment is changing, that's probably too late for your business. So I want to talk about tonalities in a second, which is so important in every sales aspect, whether it's face-to-face or over the phone. Folks, we're on with Ari Galper. You know, he is one of the leading authorities, if not the leading authority in sales in the world. He's just, you know, he helps companies all over the world build their organizations. He takes, you know, companies that are really kind of having lackluster sales and just turning their entire business around by something really basic, like we talked about, by a mindset. So if you'd like some more information about Ari, you can go to his website, which is unlockthegame.com. Again, it's unlockthegame.com. He consults with companies all over the world. His systems work all over the world. Trust-based selling is really what we're talking about. And my mind already is blown a little bit. I got my cat coming in here. It used to be my cat, but I will still call my cat walking through. I don't know if you just saw that.
Are you ready for another bomb?
Yeah, I'm ready for another bomb. I want to talk. So the next thing I wanted to ask you was tonalities, but yeah, tell me. Here comes the bomb.
Well, we'll do that if you wanted that first. No problem.
Listen. I want you to just. I'm just absorbing this stuff, and so I'm fired up.
All right, so I'm going to ask your listeners to take a verbal oath with me to remove one key phrase forever from your vocabulary post this call and never ever use it again in your entire business life again. Now, if you've been in sales for a long time, this might hurt just a bit. All right. I'm going to ask your listeners to never again use the phrase follow up forever as it's recording, ever again.
It's tough, man.
What's the only industry in the world that uses the word follow up? Hi, I'm giving you a call to follow up. Who's using that? Who's the only one who uses that?
Yeah, salespeople.
Exactly. And here you are, heart-centered. You care about people. You're using languaging that just triggers an entire negative image of you trying to move them forward, right? There's a few more classic ones. You know the other ones? Touching base, checking in, other classic 1980s kind of follow-up phraseology that just kills the trust immediately because they feel like you're on to your own goal.
Are we talking about trust, or are we talking about just like the human psyche where just people don't like to be sold? I mean, is it really trust? Does the person really just begin to no longer trust the other person, or
when they feel that you have a hidden agenda to achieve your goal is where you break the trust.
Mm-hmm.
And by using words like, hey, I'm going to follow up, that means I'm going to follow up on moving things where? Forward towards a sale. But here's what you say instead. You say this. You say, I'm giving you a call to see if you have any feedback on our previous conversation, any feedback on our proposal, any feedback on our last seat. Feedback's going the reverse direction. It's going away from this. It's going backwards. And when you say to somebody, I'm giving you a call to give any feedback on our last conversation, you know what they start doing? They start talking and talking and talking. You'd be like, oh my God. It just the whole dam opens up. And you know what you get right away? The truth.
Right. Because they want to help. It goes back to even the first question, because they want to help you.
We're so conditioned to get to the yes or no that our thinking and our language is so narrow and so used from the 1980s that people know right away you're up to something. They know you're trying to get them to a next step. They know a mile away. Within 3 seconds, it's over. They can tell you're just after your own goal. So if you don't replace that with a trust-based approach, that doesn't contain languaging in a model that they know, then you have a hard time making that sale.
I can see it pains you because it's important. So all right, well, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about tonalities a little bit. As someone who has owned a call center and I have sales guys, tonality is something that we talk a lot about. Sure. And you were just covering that. Why is that important? And what are some of the kind of the secrets that we can implement?
The key element here is not to create momentum and forward energy with somebody in a phone conversation. See, when we start speeding things up, and this now, by the way, this goes the opposite direction of what people were taught from the gurus. They tell us we're supposed to be enthusiastic and passionate about what we do, right? So when you're passionate,
enthusiasm sells. I mean, Napoleon Hill talks about the enthusiasm, and if you lack enthusiasm, you're not gonna be.
What happens if you're passionate with someone who doesn't know or trust you yet? What are they thinking?
They just, I guess they might think you're trying to scam them. I think
That's right. So you have to begin the conversation low key, calm, and relaxed without momentum. The minute you create momentum, that puts pressure on people. They pull back and the game begins. You see, but when you start the conversation without momentum, their guard is down. They're open to hear what you have to say. And it triggers so fast because I have clients of mine who use my language, but they use it like scripts. They go, Ari, how's this? Hi, I'm hoping to help. They're not relaxed and authentic. They put what I call sales armor on. They leave home, they go to work, they use the phone and become somebody else. They get ready for the bullets. They're ready for the battle. They're so teed up for that phone call because they know they're going to hit resistance.
As I'm listening to you, and it is, and I did watch some of your videos. I didn't watch all of them, obviously, because I'm just super intrigued by this conversation. And I think, again, people who are listening right now, I remember when I took the bar exam, and I took a course, and they taught us how to write essays for the bar exam, which was the complete opposite way to write for a law school exam. Two completely different things. And it was like switching from righty to lefty, but it worked. By the way, I took it twice, so I took the class the second time. And so as I'm listening to you, that I feel resistance from what you're telling me right now. So and I believe you, by the way, but my question is where did you learn this? I mean, I know you have these systems trademarked, and I know that gotten copywritten and you implement them, but like, is this something that you learned from someone else? Because we always hear that the best experiences are those from others. Where did this come from? Because I've never heard of this, and I've done all sorts of sales training.
Yeah, there's a story behind how I experienced this, and I'll share it with you now if you like. It will kind of explain where this all came from. It came from a real experience that happened to me. About a while back, I was a sales manager of a software company, and we managed 18 reps underneath me at the time. We launched the first online website data collection tools, now called Google Analytics, but we had the first software a long time ago. And the big leads came across my desk. There's one contact came across my desk, a big opportunity. I called the guy back. Nice guy. He agreed to a conference call. Big corporation he was part of. Big opportunity. If I close this one deal, it would double the revenue of the company in one transaction. That's how big it was. So they finally came for a meeting, a conference call. I was in the conference room with my CEO. A closed door behind me, big long table in front of me. On the table, a speakerphone, 3 legs on it, the corporate ones. And I hit the dial tone. I dialed the number. The guy's like, "Hey, how's it going?" "Good, good." He says to me, "Ari, let me tell you who's in the call with us today." I was like, "Oh, okay." Next thing I hear is, "My name is Mike. I'm CEO." I was like, "Whoa, CEO, this is good." "My name is Julie. I'm head of global marketing." "Oh, nice." "This is Chris. I'm head of IT." I mean, everybody on this call was basically what?
Decision makers.
They're all there, man. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." Then I introduced myself. I gave him a live demo over the web of how we collect our stats and show them in real time. And I started these noises on the phone call, like, "Wow, this is great. This is amazing." They started asking me all kinds of questions. How does it work? How do we install it? I had all the right kinds of answers. I was competent. I was professional. I had the books in my home on sales, little rapport, answering objections, everything I was doing right. There was so much chemistry on this phone call. It was like
done deal.
Love fest on the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like,
man,
no resistance. An hour goes by. They're loving it. At the end of the call, we say our goodbyes. And the guy says to me, "Ari, we love this. Give us a call a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward." I was like, "Yes, baby, this is awesome."
Your two favorite things.
And I said my goodbyes. I took my arm and I reached for the phone to hit the off button. As I'm reaching for the off button, by complete accident, I hit the mute button instead of the off button. They were right next to each other, and a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone. And that split second, a voice inside of me said, "Ari, go to the dark side. Be a fly in the wall. Listen in, go where no one's ever gone before in the world of sales. And I pulled my thumb back for a couple seconds. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call. Now you'd expect
I'm so excited to hear that. I feel like this is like a movie. This is like something like in the boiler room or something. All right, keep going. Yeah.
It's for real. That's why I got here through a lot of pain. So I listened and I thought I'd hear things like, hey, this is great. We should move this thing. This is fantastic. But let me tell you what I heard word for word. I'll never forget. That's why we're here today. What they said was, they said, we're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information and make sure we shop someplace else cheaper. Knife and heart twist. I was in a state of shock. I was like, what? And I finally hit the off button, looked at the wall and said to myself, what did I do wrong? I was competent. I was professional. I was a sales student. I learned from the gurus. I read the books. I got the CDs. I did everything right. And the first big epiphany hit me. That was this. I believe that somewhere along the way, it has become socially acceptable not to tell the truth to people who sell. Right?
Yep.
It's okay to say things like, sounds good. Send me information. Oh, wait. We're definitely
interested.
Yeah. Without having any intention of buying. And I asked myself at that moment, why were they afraid to just tell me the truth? And I realized that was my big wake-up call. I had a huge shift, and I realized the reason why is because there is this pressure that we put in the process unconsciously that they feel from us. And that gives them permission to put their guard up, only give us breadcrumbs to keep us along the way. And we end up chasing this functional process, getting stuck in the numbers game, wondering why sales is so painful. That's where I invented my whole unlock the game approach, where you shift your thinking away from the end goal. Instead, you focus only on trust building so you can finally get to the truth with people in the beginning, not the end, so you know where you stand. That became the whole premise behind our whole system.
Okay, so I know that people really also want to know what happened with that sale.
Yeah, so obviously they never called me back, and I called them, followed up, and it went dead after that. And people always ask me, Ari, what would you do now, what you knew 20 years ago on that call, if you knew what you knew now? And the answer to that question is, I never would have had the call. Because I would have discovered on the first call with my contact what their true agenda was and got to the truth. You see, we're so caught up in what I call, there's this drug that we have in our bodies, and it gets triggered with inbound calls like that. You know the drug is called? It's called hopium.
I like it, hopium. Yeah.
It's that hope that you might get the deal. You're so excited. You're like, oh, nice. I got the call, buddy. Hey, this is so exciting. I got the big deal. You're so caught up in this inflated hopium drug in your body. You just kind of hope it's going to work out because you never got truth in the beginning. So I'm detoxed for hopium.
I love it. You know, I want to talk to you because, you know, this Jack Welch quote, you know, that you have here in your materials, I had mentioned it earlier, which is, if there is more change happening inside your business than outside your business, the end is near. The famous Jack Welch, GE, right here. He lived here in Massachusetts, in Lynn, I believe is where he lived, which is kind of a weird place because it's not really nice, but there are some nice places in Lynn. But I want to talk about the evolution of technology, of our sales, of the world changing, and really how people are trying to sell now, i.e. with LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator and emails and all this other stuff, and how unlock, how your system can, unlock sales for other people in just a moment. Folks, again, we're on with Ari Galper. He is the world's #1 authority on trust-based selling. And you know what? If you've been listening up until this point, your mind might be blown a little bit like, do I trust this guy? Do I believe in what he's saying? And if you don't, visit his website, unlockthegame.com. Learn a little bit more about Ari and his system. And look, there are testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. He's been doing this for a very long time, and he helps multinational corporations and also just little consulting firms grow their businesses through his system because he knows it works. I know it feels a little bit I know you're probably feeling resistance right now within your own body, and I got to be honest, I'm feeling it a little bit too, but I think I'm starting to trust this guy, and I think I'm willing to give, I'm going to give it a shot tomorrow, and we'll talk about it on the Alden Report at some point. So again, if you'd like some more information about Ari, you can go to unlockthegame.com. So, the thing that drives me nuts is LinkedIn. When I talk about rapport building a lot, and I do want to get into that too, about post sale and rapport building, because it is completely different than what we've all been taught as salespeople. Because it does work, but I'm guessing that your system works better.
So if you never met me or no one heard this before, you could still make a living doing what you're doing right now.
Right.
But what you don't realize is how much you're losing because of it.
Yes.
It's the losses is where the opportunity is, not the wins.
Right.
So we focus on how much we make, not how much we lost and why we lost it. That's where the big opportunity is.
Yeah, because nobody likes to think about the losses.
No. Because
let's talk about again this digital age in which we're in, exclusive of these. We'll call this a face-to-face conversation. The LinkedIn, messages that I'm constantly getting, the cold emails. Even now I'm getting cold text messages, and a phone call is I don't think they're really any different than where they were before. They're just using different type of technology to make more phone calls faster. But what's going on with that world, and how can your system help those people create trust? Can you create trust without talking to somebody with sales copy, essentially?
Yeah, so I've got a course called Trust-Based Writing, which is how to take what we just talked about.
I am shocked by this. My mind is just, again, it keeps exploding. So, I actually didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. So yeah.
No one does know that unless you're a private client of mine. You wouldn't get access to it. But the point here is
let's talk about it, because I got to be honest, like, I can't fucking stand these people. Like, I'm just like, I actually respond to LinkedIn messages that I get. They don't know me. They instantly try to sell me, and I respond to them sometimes. I'm like, bro, why don't you learn a little bit about me first before you try to fucking sell me? And because it drives me crazy,
because all people have done is taken their 1980s way approach of thinking and cold calling and putting into different technologies, like you just described to me. Right. On LinkedIn, I get the same message too. Hi, you want 10 minutes of my? They don't understand. The medium isn't the problem. Their approach is the problem.
Right.
Their thinking is the problem. They're still using 1980s selling into a new technology, which is causing all the conflict. Here's the key thing about this. What never changes is the human condition.
Right.
People still want to feel that you care about them. And here we are using techniques and systems and processes that do not send that message. We don't even aren't even aware of this. It's like it's in our subconscious. We're just like, okay, send it out, send it out, send it out, send it out, hoping like it'll just land. I'm like, are you kidding me? You have to start from the bottom up. You have to write your emails and LinkedIn messages with empathy and caring about their problem. I tell my clients on all your emails you do from now on, all your copywriting, all your LinkedIn communication, do not talk about you. Only focus in on what their issues might be with languaging that's empathetic, that brings them to you. I'll give you an example. Rather than using the word, would you be interested in a 10-minute call? Would you be interested in X, whatever your X is? Try this instead. Say, would you be open to the idea of? See, open doesn't force them into a yes or a no. The word open creates a new space where they feel like they can engage with you. See, languaging changes like that change everything, because it sends the tone and message. You're not going to force onto them something they may not need. And that's the key thing around trust-based selling applied to. I'll tell you a funny story. I had someone call us last week and said to me out of nowhere, he's like, Ari, you saved my marriage. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Because my wife and I were on the edge of divorce, and I realized it was me. I wasn't listening. I wasn't communicating. I wasn't building trust with her. And I learned how to communicate with your system now. And now she gets it. Now she learns how to communicate with me. Now we're back together again. I'm like, That's what I'm talking about. This is not trust-based selling. This is trust-based communication that we are void of in our lives and in business.
Yeah, man. I'm really loving this conversation. So, when I think about scripts, okay. So when, I mentioned one of the videos that we were watching earlier, and when I sold cars, we had a great sales training, and they gave us scripts, but one of the things that they taught us was, to internalize it so it's not canned. Use your own vernacular, your own jargon, so that you can tell that it's you. But in a lot of industries, like the financial markets or even the call center business that I'm in, where we sell supplements and there are certain claims that can be made, we're very rigid as far as what you can and can't say. Literally follow the script. So what do you say to those people who are in a call center where there are still a lot there where they have to follow a script path? Because when we would have our sales meetings and our sales trainings, we would talk about enthusiasm. We would talk about voice inflection. We would talk about, being excited because those are really the only things that they can do. So if you have a script that's already written, what do you say to those people?
Well, what? Give me an example of one script that you guys use right now.
So, for instance, so I have one of my businesses is we sell dietary supplements, right? And so we have a script that we've been using for years. It's a sales funnel. Everyone talks about a sales funnel. We bring them in, we ask them probing questions. We offer them a problem to their solution. We use their answers to probe even a little bit more, and then we eventually bring them down to the offer, right? But because it is a heavily regulated industry and all the calls are recorded, you're dealing with credit cards and things like this, we have to be very rigid in that sales process, because we can't have a rogue salesperson say something, even if they're
I understand.
So even if it's not even malicious, right?
I understand. What do they say?
Let's say they'll make an overzealous claim about a particular product, or they'll use something that they think is better than the sales
What's the actual script that they're using now? Maybe I can improve it.
Maybe you can approve it?
Yeah, what's the script they're using? What's your example of a script that I can listen to that you tell me right now that I can see if I can make it better?
Oh, I mean, it's like 10 pages long.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, the first line is thanks for calling the R3D order line. My name is Mike and your first name is. That's the first thing we say.
Okay. And then?
And then you say, yeah, my name's Ari. I say, Ari, did you just see the advertisement for R3D? And you say, sure. And we say, great. Well, a lot of our customers, who have seen the show for R3D, have really enjoyed. So
now this is now selling.
Right.
This is now presenting.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. So the thing too is this is we're literally just kind of like having a conversation right now. So, which is great. So the thing about that too is now, as a business owner, right? Because I have a call center, but then I also have call centers that I pay. So now you're paying per minute too, right? And you're also, these call centers, they're taking calls from all different clients. So they want to make the sale in an effective way, and not just getting them off the phone, but a lot of times they do just want to get to the next call. So,
but you can do it with more nuance and elegance if you said this instead. I saw you saw the ad on PD, whatever it's called. Rather than saying our clients, start to say, would you be open to considering this as a way to help you with your ailment, whatever their thing is. You can just adjust the languaging so it's not so goddamn scripted. It sounds like a call center call. That's the whole point. It's like you're playing the numbers game again, and on the dial for dollars, how many did we get today? How many calls you guys make? See, the problem is you're measuring them on their behaviors, not on their trust building abilities. It's a wrong measurement. It should not be how many contacts calls you made today. It should be how good are you at trust building to convert the call to a sale, not how many contacts you made, how many calls you made. It's a different way of thinking, because that's where it breaks right there.
Yeah, I'm just, if you're watching right now, you can see me. I got my arms crossed. I'm leaning back in the chair. It's getting dark here in this office. We only got one light, and I'm just thinking about what you're saying. And I thought about what you said earlier when you said, a lot of us are just applying, sales skills from 1985, and just using that same kind of verbiage. It just doesn't work anymore with us.
People know it a mile away when they say, "Hi, how are you today? What's your name?" it's such an awkward moment because that's how people talk normally. It's just a weird sort of like, oh boy, here I go. I mean, it just doesn't lend itself to trust building. Let's put it that way.
But in this scenario, the one that I'm using in particular, where people are well, let's use a retail setting where someone's walking in, where they're going in to buy a washer and dryer, and the salesperson on the sales floor knows it. Like everybody knows why they're there. They're there to buy something, so they know they're essentially going to be sold, or even a car.
Well, that's an assumption that's being made.
Okay, I'm
just because they're there doesn't mean they're going to buy anything. That's an assumption that we make as a mistake on our part. That's old school. Oh, they're walking in. Great. They're going to buy something today. All of a sudden, boom, salesperson comes. That's the problem. We make assumptions.
Well, doesn't a salesperson in that scenario say, "Well, Ari, yeah, thanks for coming in to Best Buy today. How can I help you?"
That's fine. I have no problem with how can I help you. That's cool.
Right.
But to make assumptions that they're going to buy is the problem. See, they got to feel that you're there to listen to them.
That's
not sell them.
That's the mindset shift, I think, that I was just kind of missing from the salesperson standpoint, is to, as a salesperson, their name is their profession, their occupation is a salesperson. What you're saying is, and I heard some of your videos, is get the sales part out of your mindset.
Look,
and that's hard to do, man.
When you're a black belt level with me over time, my top clients, here's how they think when they meet someone for a first time on a phone call. You know what their thinking is? We're probably not a fit.
What's that?
Their mindset is, we're probably not a fit.
Why are they thinking that?
Because that's how they let go of their assumptions. That's how they let go of all their crap they're holding on to be present with someone, so they can basically diagnose the problem and decide whether they're a fit or not. They don't assume a fit just because they're qualified. They basically they detach from the goal, which gives them a sense of connectivity with the customer, and they feel like they're with them. It sounds pretty crazy to think about it, but really, when you let go of your next step in your brain and they're talking and you're with them 100%, listening, hearing is passive. Listening is active.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
When you're listening to somebody, your brain's not going to the next step. You're being present with them 100%.
I love it, man. I could keep you here forever. I feel like, again, I know I've seen, what you've done some other companies, and I've seen some of your testimonials, and I just, I'm just really, really happy that we're making this happen. I know we had some kind of technical difficulties, and I'm here in a different place, but I really wanted to connect you. Before I let you go, I want to talk a little bit about lessons from Toby, your son. Tell us a little bit about this and what we can learn from Toby.
Sure. So when my son was born, after about a day after he was born, we were told that he had Down syndrome. And at first we weren't sure what that meant to our lives. We realized we had a gift on our hands. And if you know someone has Down syndrome, you know they're special people. They're transparent. They have no hidden agenda. They're pure love. They're so good. These kids are amazing. And I learned from him how to be like that. And I embedded his approach into my model, because he's the role model. He has no hidden agenda. He's not thinking about his next thing he wants. He's pure present with people. And I said to myself, man, if he's the role model, and we were like him with people, if he went into sales one day, can you imagine how successful he'd be? Because he wouldn't be saying, what's the next step? What's the next step? He'd be just so pure. And that's what we're missing. We're missing the ability to be present with people. So we're so caught up in all that stuff from the past that basically it puts us in the wrong path.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just super excited that we've been connected. I'm glad we made this happen. You're all the way in Australia. I'm here just actually south of Boston right now. I'm losing light, but that's okay. A lot of people can listen to this. Man, I tell you, this is why I actually wrote down, if you could see it, I said podcast fires me up. And I just love being able to connect with people like you and to learn from people like you. And this is why we do the Alden Report. We have people like Ari that are on, that are experts within their field. They're offering us, information that they know works, and they're out there doing stuff, and they continue to help people. And this is why, again, I do this. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Alden Report. If you'd like some more information about Ari, you can check out his website at unlockthegame.com. If you're a corporation, if you're an individual and you want to consult with Ari, you can do that. You can reach out to him right there on his website. You can pick up his programs. And again, I feel like, I don't know, I feel a little guilty. I feel like I've just kind of got some free stuff, and you should feel a little guilty. No, I'm only kidding. But this is for me. I'm fired up, man. I was tired earlier, and you got me fired up, and I've learned new things from you. And again, I want to thank you, for being here. But before I let you go, do you have any last thoughts for our listeners and viewers?
I would just say that the world has shifted, as you know, in the last 12 months, last couple of years, so dramatically, that if you're still selling like you have been all this time, and you haven't upgraded your whole approach and thinking to where the world's at right now, you're in for a lot of pain coming soon, because because trust is a new currency now. And if you aren't consciously aware of building trust the whole time, you'll lose opportunities and chase people, and it's a nightmare place to be. So just be open to shifting your thinking, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. And by the way, if you ask us for a free consultation, don't be surprised if we don't offer you anything. See what it's like not to be sold. That in itself is an experience.
Well, I love it. Again, and so again, if you'd like some more information about Ari and his organization, you can go to unlockthegame.com. This has been just a fun episode, an enlightening episode. I've learned so much for today, and I'm glad that you were able to make it happen. I'm glad we were both able to make this happen. My name is Michael Alden. That's Ari Galper, and we'll see you soon.
Do you have trouble sleeping or even falling asleep? Well, I certainly do. Do you have aches and pains that limit your mobility? Is your life filled with stressful situations or even toxic personalities? What if I told you that I found a solution for you, created by a retired U.S. Navy SEAL to address his own sleep issues, his own aches and pains, and his own challenges from multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan? Well, that company is Naked Warrior Recovery. They're a Navy SEAL, combat veteran-owned and operated CBD company. Their dedication to quality and effectiveness is carried over from a lifetime of service and elite unconventional special operations teams to a small, unconventional company dedicated to providing the highest quality CBD on the market. Someone asked me, they said, Mike, what's the difference between Naked Warrior Recovery CBD and the CBD I can buy at the gas station? Well, my reply is simple. What's the difference between high quality sushi from a 5-star restaurant and gas station sushi? Well, I think we all know the answer. Are you willing to roll the bones for gas station sushi? Why would you take the same chance with gas station CBD? That's why I want you to go on and visit Naked Warrior Recovery by going to www.nw-recovery.com. That's www.nw-recovery.com. Because you're a listener of the Alden Report, we want to do something special for you, where you can actually receive 15% off of your entire order. When you place your order, enter in the code podcast1 to receive 15% off of your entire order. Again, it's podcast1 at checkout. Podcast and the number 1. Again, visit www.nw-recovery.com and enter podcast1 at checkout to receive 15% off of your entire first order.